The ceramic vase hit the wall with a crack, like breaking bones. Destiny Cole froze in the hallway of the private villa, her tablet clutched against her chest, the urgent contract documents suddenly feeling weightless compared to the weight of dread settling in her stomach. Rain lashed the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Incheon Bay, each drop like a warning she should have heeded. She should leave. Turn around. Pretend she never heard the raised voices coming from behind that partially open door. But then she heard something that made her blood run cold. "You actually thought I wanted to get pregnant?" The laugh that followed was cruel, mocking. Destiny recognized that voice. Han Yeon, the chairman's wife. The woman who smiled for cameras and froze out staff with equal ease. "I've had an IUD for 5 years, Tae-woo, since our wedding night." Destiny's hand flew to her mouth. Through the crack in the door, she could see him, Shin Tae-woo, the man who owned the Azure Pearl resort chain, whose business decisions moved markets, whose name commanded respect across 3 countries. He stood with his back to the window, shoulders rigid beneath his tailored shirt, silent. "Say something," his wife demanded. "Or are you too shocked to speak?" "Why?" His voice came out raw, broken. "Why?" Yeon turned from the window, and even from the hallway, Destiny could see the cold satisfaction on her face. "Because I didn't marry you to become a broodmare for your precious family legacy. I married your empire, your connections, your power. Our agreement was that I'd play the dutiful wife, and I have. Perfectly." She examined her nails. "But nowhere in that agreement did it say I had to destroy my body producing an heir for people who will never see me as anything but the woman who wasn't from the right family. My mother. Your mother made it very clear from day one that I was temporary, a placeholder until you grew up and found someone suitable." Yeon's voice dripped venom. "Well, guess what? In 18 months, I'll have enough board votes to force a restructuring. Half your resorts will answer to me. And then I'll divorce you, take my settlement, and watch your family empire crumble without an heir to hold it together." Destiny's heart hammered. She needed to leave. Now. She took a step back, and her shoe scraped against the marble. The sound echoed like a gunshot. The door swung open. Tae-woo stood there, his expression shifting from devastation to cold control in a heartbeat. His eyes locked onto hers, dark, assessing, dangerous. "How long have you been out here?" Destiny's mouth went dry. She'd worked for Shin Tae-woo for 3 years. Started as a front desk coordinator, worked her way up to executive assistant. She'd seen him fire people for smaller infractions than eavesdropping on his personal life.
"How long have you been out here?"
"I just arrived, sir. The Osaka contract needed your signature before morning."
I asked you a question, Miss Cole.
"I asked you a question, Miss Cole." His voice was quiet. That was worse than shouting. "How long?" She couldn't lie. Not to those eyes that seemed to see straight through her. "Long enough." Silence stretched between them. Behind him, Yeon appeared in the doorway, her expression shifting from annoyance to something calculating. "Well," she said slowly, "this is unfortunate." Tae-woo's jaw tightened. "Go back to your room, Yeon." "Excuse me?" "Now." Something in his tone made even Yeon pause. She glanced between them, then smiled, cold and knowing. "Of course. But Tae-woo?" She stopped at the hallway's end. "Whatever you're thinking of doing about this little situation, don't. That girl knows too much now. Fire her, and she might talk. Keep her, and I'll make her life hell. Either way, you lose." She disappeared into the villa's east wing. Tae-woo turned back to Destiny. "Inside, now!" Every instinct screamed at her to run, but her legs carried her into the office anyway. The door closed with a soft click that sounded like a trap snapping shut. "Welcome to the channel. If stories like this pull you in, you're one of us. Subscribe now, because this channel is where these stories continue, and you don't want to miss what comes next. Now let's get back to it, because what's about to happen next will leave you speechless." Shin Tae-woo was 38 years old and had built his reputation on control. Control over his emotions. Control over his business. Control over every situation. His grandfather started with a single beachside inn in Busan. His father expanded to 5 properties. Tae-woo turned it into an empire. 20 luxury resorts across Korea, Japan, and Thailand. Every detail perfect. Every guest experience flawless. Control was everything. And right now, listening to his wife's revelation, watching his executive assistant stand in his office, having heard every word, Tae-woo felt control slipping through his fingers like water. "Sit," he said, gesturing to the chair across from his desk. Destiny sat, her hands folded in her lap, her spine straight. Professional even now. That's what he'd always noticed about her. The quiet competence. The way she handled crisis with grace. the fierce loyalty she showed to her team. You understand what you heard tonight can't leave this room. Yes, sir. I'll have legal send over an NDA in the morning. Enhanced confidentiality clause. Significant penalties for breach. I understand. He studied her face. She was terrified. He could see it in the slight tremor of her hands. But she met his gaze directly. Most people couldn't do that. How much do you make here, Miss Cole? The question seemed to catch her off guard. Sir? Your salary, how much? 85,000 a year. But I don't see... And you have a second job teaching English online. 4 nights a week, late shifts. He saw her surprise. I know everything about my senior staff. It's my job to know. Yes, sir. Why do you need 2 jobs? Her jaw tightened. That's personal, sir. Not anymore. He moved to the window, looked out at the rain-soaked bay. Everything became my business the moment you heard what you heard. So I'll ask again. Why do you need the money? Silence. Then quietly. My father has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He's in Seattle. The treatment he needs isn't covered by insurance. It's experimental, but it's the only option that might give him more time. How much time? The doctors say maybe 2 years. Without it? Her voice cracked slightly. 6 months if we're lucky. And the treatment costs? $150,000, plus another $75,000 for the clinical trial enrollment, and ongoing medications that run about $5,000 a month. She laughed bitterly. I've been saving everything I can. I'm at $40,000, only another $200,000 to go. Taewoo turned to face her. I'll pay it. All of it. Tonight. Destiny's eyes went wide. What? I'll cover your father's treatment. Every penny. The trial, the medications, everything. He moved back to his desk. I'll also put $2 million in a trust fund. Your name? Untouchable. She stared at him like he'd lost his mind. Why would you? In exchange for 2 things. He opened his desk drawer, pulled out a business card, wrote something on the back. First, your absolute silence about what you heard tonight, forever. And second? This was it. The moment that would change everything. I need an heir, Miss Cole. My wife has made her position clear. My family's succession rules are ironclad. If I don't have a direct descendant, the board will force a sale within 2 years. Everything my grandfather built will be carved up by competitors? Destiny's face went pale. You're not suggesting. I'm offering you a business arrangement. His voice was steady, even as his world crumbled. One night, clinical, professional. If nothing comes of it, you still get the money, all of it, for your silence. If something does come of it, you carry the child to term. I protect you, you and the child, for life. My resources, my security, everything I have becomes yours. This is insane. She stood, backing toward the door. You're my boss. I'm your employee. This is... I know exactly what this is. He held out the card. It's desperate. It's crossing every line. But I'm out of options, and time is something neither of us has. He paused. Your father doesn't have time. My family doesn't have time. This arrangement solves both problems. By asking me to... She couldn't even say it. I'm asking you to consider a choice that will save your father's life and secure your future. Nothing more. What about your wife? My wife made her intentions clear. She's already gone, whether she knows it yet or not. His expression hardened. She chose money over everything else. I'm simply making a different choice. Destiny stared at the card in his outstretched hand. I can't. You have 48 hours to decide. He set the card on the desk between them. That's my private number. No one else has it. Call me with your answer. And if I say no? Then you get the NDA, a generous severance package, and my gratitude for your discretion. His eyes met hers. But your father's treatment? That's on you to figure out. The words hit like a physical blow. Destiny grabbed the card, clutched it like it might burn her. I know what I am, but I keep my promises, Miss Cole. Always. It's the only currency that matters in my world. She left without another word. And Taewoo stood alone in his office, listening to the rain, wondering if he'd just made the biggest mistake of his life, or the only choice that could save everything. The next 2 days were hell. Destiny moved through the resort like a ghost, checking in VIP guests, managing staff schedules, handling crisis after crisis with the same professional calm she always showed. But inside, her mind was chaos. The card burned in her pocket. She pulled it out constantly. In the elevator, in the bathroom, during her lunch break, she couldn't eat. $225,000. Her father's life. $2 million in security. all for one night and 9 months of her life. She called Seattle. Her father's nurse put him on. "Hey, baby girl." His voice was weak, thready. "How's Korea treating you?" "Good, Dad. How are you feeling?" "Oh, living the dream." He coughed, a wet, painful sound. "The doctors say the regular chemo's not working anymore. They want to talk about quality of life care, hospice." Destiny's eyes burned. "What about the trial?" "Can't afford it, honey. We've been through this. I'm not letting you bankrupt yourself trying to save a dying old man." "You're not dying." "We're all dying, baby. I'm just doing it faster." Another cough. "Listen, I need you to promise me something. When I'm gone, you live your life. No regrets, no holding back. You take chances. You be brave. Promise me." "Dad, promise me, Destiny." "I promise." After the call ended, she sat in her apartment staring at the card until the numbers blurred. "Be brave." She made the call. He answered immediately. "Yes." "It's Destiny. I need—" Her voice shook. "I need you to send the money first, for my father, before anything else. I need to know he's safe before I agree to anything. Give me his doctor's information." She did. "It'll be handled within 2 hours." "How do I know you'll actually—" "Because I don't lie, Miss Cole. Not about business. Not about anything that matters." His voice softened slightly. "Your father will get his treatment. You have my word." Something in his tone made her believe him. 90 minutes later, her father's oncologist called. "Destiny, I don't know how this happened, but your father's treatment has been fully funded. An anonymous benefactor. The trial, the medications, everything. We can start tomorrow." Destiny's knees gave out. She sank to her apartment floor, tears streaming down her face.
He's gonna be okay.
He's going to be okay?
Remarkable. I can't promise
The trial results have been remarkable. I can't promise anything, but yes, he has a real chance now. When she could breathe again, she texted the number. "Thank you. Your father is taken care of. Your answer?" Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. This was insane, impossible, wrong. But her father had a chance to live. "Yes. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., I'll send a car to your apartment." She stared at the message until her vision blurred. What had she just agreed to? The car arrived exactly at 9. A private driver who didn't speak to her. No questions. No small talk. She was driven to a building in Songdo she didn't recognize. Modern, expensive, anonymous. Escorted to a penthouse that clearly wasn't Taewoo's primary residence. Neutral ground. He waited by the window, wearing simple black pants and a white button-down. No suit. No armor. He looked younger somehow. More human. "You came." "I said I would." "So did I." He gestured to the dining table covered in documents. "Everything's here. Your father's treatment confirmation, the trust fund, legal protections, confidentiality agreements, all ironclad." She moved closer, scanned the papers. It was real. More comprehensive than she'd imagined. Protection clauses that covered scenarios she hadn't even thought of. "Why are you doing this?" "Because I need what you can give me more than I need pride." He picked up a pen, held it out. "And because you deserve to know you're completely protected before anything else happens." She took the pen, signed her name. The sound of pen on paper felt like crossing a point of no return. Taewoo countersigned, then gathered the documents. "My lawyer will file these tonight. By morning, everything is official and enforceable." "And now?" He finally looked at her directly. "Now, I ask you one last time if you're certain. Because after this, there's no taking it back for either of us." Destiny thought of her father's voice on the phone. Of the treatment starting tomorrow. Of the life she could give him. "I'm certain." He nodded slowly. "Then you can stay or leave. The choice is entirely yours. But I want you to know, regardless of what you choose, I'm grateful. And you're protected." She didn't leave. What happened that night stayed between them, private, unspoken. And when morning light crept through the windows, everything was different. He drove her home himself. No driver, no witnesses. "Take the week off," he said as she got out. "Paid leave. When you return to work, nothing changes between us professionally. Last night never happened. And if—" She couldn't finish the sentence. "If there's a result, you tell me immediately. No one else. Just me." His eyes held hers. "And I protect you. I meant every word of that." She nodded and walked into her building, her legs unsteady. Behind her, his car disappeared into Seoul's morning traffic. Destiny spent the next week in Seattle with her father. Watched him start the trial. Saw color return to his face after the second treatment. Heard hope in his voice for the first time in months. "Something good happened, didn't it?" he said, taking her hand. "You have that look, like the weight finally lifted." Got a promotion at work, Dad. Big raise. That's my girl. I'm proud of you. If only he knew the truth. When she returned to Incheon, the atmosphere at the resort had shifted. Tae-woo barely acknowledged her in meetings. A brief nod when they passed in hallways. Professional distance, as if that night never existed. But Ewan noticed everything. Destiny. The voice cut through the lobby during a busy check-in. A moment. Destiny turned. Yeon stood there in designer everything, her smile sharp as broken glass. Yes, Mrs. Shin? Walk with me. It wasn't a request. They walked through the resort gardens, away from staff and guests. When they were alone, Yeon's smile vanished. You've been looking tired lately, distracted. Just busy season, ma'am. Yeon's eyes were calculating. I've been reviewing staff files. Yours is interesting. 3 years here. Excellent performance reviews. Never a single complaint. She stopped walking. And yet last week, you took an entire week off. Unprecedented for you. I had personal matters. In Seattle, where your father is undergoing treatment. Yeon's smile returned. Expensive treatment. Treatment that, according to public records, your insurance doesn't cover. Destiny's blood ran cold. So, I have to wonder, Yeon continued, how exactly does an executive assistant afford a $250,000 medical procedure? She stepped closer. Unless someone helped you, someone with resources. I don't know what you're implying. I'm not implying anything. I'm stating facts. Yeon's voice dropped to ice. My husband has been different lately. Distracted, secretive, and then I find out his assistant suddenly has funding for experimental cancer treatments. Her hand shot out, grabbed Destiny's wrist. Stay away from what's mine, or I'll make sure your father's treatment stops. I'll make sure you lose everything. Do you understand me? Destiny jerked her wrist free. Perfectly. Good. Yeon smoothed her hair. Now get back to work, and remember your place. She walked away, leaving Destiny shaking with rage and fear. That evening, her phone buzzed. The private number. Are you all right? Security reported an incident in the gardens. He was watching, even now. I'm fine. She threatened you. I can handle it. You shouldn't have to. I'll take care of it. And somehow, she believed he would. 6 weeks later, Destiny woke up feeling wrong, nauseous, exhausted. Her period was 2 weeks late. No, she whispered to her empty bathroom. Please, no. She bought tests from 3 different stores, took them all. Every single one came back positive. She stared at the pink lines, her heart racing so fast she thought she might pass out. The bathroom light buzzed overhead like an accusation. This wasn't supposed to happen. The odds were supposed to be low. One time wasn't supposed to. Her phone rang. The private number. She answered with shaking hands. We need to meet. Tonight. Same place. He knew. Somehow, he knew. The same car, the same penthouse. But this time, Tae-woo looked different. Tense. Like a wire pulled too tight. He paced the length of the windows, his usual control fractured. When he finally stopped and looked at her, his eyes were desperate. Tell me. Destiny's hands twisted together. I'm pregnant. The words hung between them like a detonation. He didn't move, didn't breathe. Then he sank onto the couch, his head dropping into his hands. His fingers pressed into his temples, and she heard him exhale, long, shaky, loaded with too many emotions to name. You're certain? 4 tests, all positive. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow to confirm, but... Her voice cracked. I'm pregnant. He looked up at her, and his expression was complicated beyond words. Relief, and fear, and wonder, and guilt, all tangled together. How are you feeling? Physically, I mean. The question surprised her. Terrified, nauseous. I don't know how to... This wasn't supposed to feel real. It was supposed to be a transaction. Business. And now there's a... She couldn't finish. I know. He stood, moved toward her carefully. I know this isn't what you planned. What I planned doesn't matter anymore? It matters to me. He stopped in front of her. Listen carefully. From this moment, you're under my complete protection. Personal security detail. New apartment with full security, private medical care, everything you need. Your wife will find out eventually. Let her. His voice turned to steel. She made her choice. She wanted to watch me fail. Instead, she'll watch my family continue, through you. Destiny's hand moved to her stomach instinctively. Nothing to feel yet, but the gesture felt necessary. I don't know if I can do this. Raise a child in your world. Her eyes filled with tears. I'm just an executive assistant. I don't know anything about... You're stronger than you think. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. Inside is everything. New apartment address in Cheongdam-dong, security protocols, medical team contact information, and a phone with a direct line to me. You call anytime, day or night, for anything. She opened it with trembling hands. A key, a new phone, bank account information, $3 million. This is too much. It's not enough. He moved to the window. You're carrying my child, my heir. There's no amount of money that reflects what that means to my family. I'm scared. Good. Fear keeps you careful. He turned back. But you're not alone. Not anymore. Something in his voice made her chest tighten. This wasn't just about business anymore. Taewoo. His name felt strange on her lips. You should use my name, at least in private. That feels too personal. We're having a child together. I think we're past impersonal. The absurdity hit her, and she laughed, broken, slightly hysterical. 2 months ago, I was worrying about my performance review. Now I'm pregnant with my boss's baby, and there's $3 million in my bank account. Things change fast in my world. Too fast. She moved closer, and before she could stop herself, she leaned into him. His arms came around her, careful, gentle, protective. We'll figure this out, he murmured, together. The next months were surreal. Destiny moved into a luxury apartment in Cheongdam-dong. The building had security that rivaled a government facility, guards on her floor, cameras everywhere, a private medical team that made house calls twice weekly. Everything she needed appeared before she knew she needed it. Food, vitamins, pregnancy books, a rocking chair that probably cost more than her car. And Taewoo visited, carefully. Rarely enough not to raise suspicions, but regularly enough to check on her. He never touched her again. Never crossed that line, but he'd sit in her living room and they'd talk. She learned he'd wanted to be a marine biologist before family obligation consumed him. That he designed every resort property himself. A secret he kept because his mother thought it was beneath his position. That he'd never wanted this life, but didn't know how to escape it. He learned she'd been an English literature major before money ran out. That she wrote poetry in journals she'd never shown anyone. That she'd come to Korea running from a bad relationship, looking for a fresh start. Slowly, impossibly, something grew between them that neither had planned. Something real. Something that terrified them both. At 5 months, her pregnancy was undeniable. Destiny stopped going to the resort entirely. Taewoo arranged her resignation, a promotion to a consulting role she could do remotely. Generous compensation. No questions asked. Yeon didn't even notice. She'd already hired a new assistant to torment. But at 6 months, everything exploded. Taewoo arrived at her apartment unannounced, his face grim. Blood on his collar, a bruise forming on his jaw. We have a problem. Destiny struggled up from the couch, her hand on her swollen belly. The baby kicked, sensing tension. What happened? Are you hurt? I'm fine, but Yeon knows. The world tilted. How? One of my security team. She got to him, paid him triple what I was paying. His jaw was tight with barely controlled rage. She's known for 3 weeks. She's been planning. Planning what? Something permanent, the kind of thing that ends with you disappearing. He grabbed her shoulders gently. She already tried. That's why I'm bleeding. Her people ambushed me on my way here. 4 men, professional. If I hadn't seen it coming. Oh God. Pack a bag, just essentials. We're leaving right now. Where? I have a property in Jeju. Remote, private, she can't reach you there. Taewoo. Now, Destiny. Her name on his lips sounded like a prayer. We're out of time. She packed with shaking hands. The baby kicked frantically. I know, baby, she whispered. Mama's scared too. They made it to the building's parking garage before everything went dark. The lights should have kicked back on immediately. They didn't. Footsteps echoed in the blackness. Too many of them. Taewoo pushed her behind him. She heard the click of something metallic, realized with horror he was armed. Stay behind me. Don't make a sound. Emergency lights flickered on, bathing everything in red. Ewan stood by the exit, surrounded by 5 men in dark suits, all armed. Her smile was pure venom. Hello, husband, and the little consultant. My, you've certainly grown since I last saw you. Destiny's heart stopped. This is over, Yuan, Taewoo said, his voice deadly calm. The divorce was finalized this morning. You have no claim anymore. Oh, I'm just getting started. Yuan's heels clicked on concrete as she stepped forward. Did you really think I'd let you humiliate me? Replace me with her? Some employee carrying your illegitimate child? Walk away. Last chance. I don't think so. She nodded to her men. Kill him. Take her. The baby is leverage. We'll use it to control what's left of his empire. You're making a mistake. The only mistake was waiting this long. One of her men raised a gun. Everything happened at once. Tae-woo moved faster than Destiny thought possible, putting himself between her and the weapon. A shot cracked through the garage like thunder. The man dropped, bleeding. The others drew their weapons. Get behind the car! Tae-woo shouted. Now! Destiny dove behind a Mercedes, pressed herself against cold concrete, hands over her belly. The baby kicked wildly. Please, 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 she whispered. Gunfire erupted, shouting, the screech of tires on concrete. Then silence. Terrible silence. Destiny. She looked up. Tae-woo stood over her, breathing hard. Blood on his face from a cut. Behind him, Yeon's men were either down or fleeing. Yeon herself was gone. Are you hurt? She shook her head, tears streaming. The baby? Hospital, right now. He helped her up. His car was damaged but functional. They drove through red lights, Tae-woo on the phone barking orders in Korean, while Destiny prayed their baby was okay. The hospital confirmed what Destiny felt in her bones. The baby was fine, strong heartbeat, active, completely unaffected by the chaos. She lay in the private room Tae-woo secured, hands on her belly, feeling those reassuring kicks. Tae-woo paced, phone pressed to his ear, his voice sharp and commanding. When he finally hung up, he looked exhausted. It's done. Yeon is on a flight to Paris. If she returns to Korea, she'll be arrested. I made sure of it. How? Evidence I've been collecting for years. Fraud, embezzlement, connections to people who wanted to destroy my business. He sat beside her bed, took her hand. She chose exile over prison? Is it really over? The threat from her? Yes. He squeezed her hand. But there are new complications. What kind? My family, the board, they know about the baby now. Some will accept it. Others will see it as a scandal. His thumb traced circles on her palm. There will be challenges. People who'll try to use you or the child as leverage. So what do? We protect each other. He met her eyes, and what she saw there made her breath catch. And we decide what kind of future we want. What do you mean? This started as an arrangement. Business. His voice roughened. But somewhere along the way, it became something else. For me. Destiny's heart raced. Tae-woo! I know it's complicated. I know I put you in an impossible position. But when I look at you, when I think about this child... He paused. I don't see an arrangement anymore. I see something I never thought I'd have. Something real. The baby kicked hard, as if agreeing. She laughed through tears. This is insane, all of it. I know. I was supposed to just be your assistant. You were never just anything. His hand moved to her belly, hesitant. May I? She nodded. His palm pressed against her stomach, and the baby kicked directly into his hand. Wonder filled his eyes. Strong, like you. I don't know what we are, she whispered. But I know I don't want to do this alone. You won't have to. I promise. He kissed her forehead, gentle and reverent, and for the first time in months, Destiny felt hope. Maybe this impossible situation could become something beautiful. 3 months later, in a private wing of Seoul's most exclusive medical center, Destiny gave birth to a baby boy. He had his father's eyes and his mother's fierce spirit, announcing his arrival with a cry that made the nurses laugh. Never heard lungs like that on a newborn, one said, smiling. Tae-woo held his son with trembling hands, tears streaming down his face. Destiny watched his entire world shift, realign around this tiny, perfect life. What should we name him? She asked, exhausted and elated. Something that means hope, new beginnings. What about Isaiah? For my grandfather. Isaiah Shin. He tested the name, then smiled, the first completely unguarded smile she'd ever seen from him. Perfect. He handed Isaiah back carefully, and as Destiny held her son, she realized every impossible choice had led to this moment, to this child, to this man, to this dangerous, beautiful future. But outside the windows, Seoul sprawled below like a battlefield, and in the shadows, new enemies watched, because a resort empire's heir had been born, and everyone wanted a piece of him. Tae-woo's phone buzzed. His expression darkened immediately. What is it? Message from the board. They want to meet Isaiah, verify his legitimacy, decide if they'll accept him as my heir. His eyes met hers. And decide if they'll accept you. When? 3 months. And if they don't accept us, then we fight. For him, for us, for everything. He sat beside her, arm around her shoulders. But I won't let anyone hurt either of you. I'd burn every resort to the ground first. Destiny looked down at Isaiah, sleeping peacefully, unaware of the storm gathering. She'd thought the hard part was over. she was wrong. This was just the beginning. Now, if you've made it this far, I need you to do something for me. Smash that subscribe button because you do not want to miss what happens when Destiny faces the board of directors. The days after Isaiah's birth were deceptively peaceful. Tae-woo moved them to a private estate in Pyeongchang-dong. Not a home, a fortress. High walls, armed security, systems that would make intelligence agencies jealous. Destiny spent her days learning to be a mother while Tae-woo taught her other things. You need to know how to protect yourself, he said one afternoon while Isaiah napped. He handed her a small device. Panic button, press it, and security arrives in under 30 seconds. I don't care what you think. You need to be able to defend our son if something happens to me. His voice was firm, but his eyes were worried. She learned self-defense, security protocols, Korean business etiquette, the politics of resort families, who allied with whom, which relationships were real, where power truly lay. And she learned that being Tae-woo's partner made her a target. The first threat came disguised as a gift. Beautiful flowers delivered to the gate. The security team found toxins on the petals before Destiny could touch them. The second was a pediatrician offering house calls. Background check revealed connections to a rival resort chain. The third was a nanny with impeccable credentials. Tae-woo's security found surveillance equipment hidden in her bag. Each threat escalated. Each one brought them closer to the inevitable confrontation. They're testing us, Tae-woo said one evening as they watched Isaiah sleep. Seeing if we're strong enough to protect him? Are we? We have to be. 3 months earlier, outside the medical center, a black Mercedes sat in the visitor parking lot. Inside, a woman watched through tinted windows as Tae-woo held his newborn son for the first time. She made a call. The child was born, a boy, healthy. The voice on the other end was cold, refined. Good. Let them bond. Let them believe they've won. And then? Then we remind them who truly controls this family? The child may be his blood, but blood means nothing without approval, without legitimacy. A pause. Schedule the board meeting. 3 months. That gives us time to prepare our position. And the woman? An executive assistant playing at being a chaebol wife? She'll break easily enough. The voice turned sharp. Make sure of it. The call ended. The Mercedes drove away. And in that medical center room, holding his son and the woman who'd given him everything, Tae-woo felt the future closing in like a trap. Promise me something, Destiny whispered. Anything. Promise that no matter what happens, we protect him first. Above everything. Even if it costs us everything we have. I promise. He wrapped both of them in his arms. Whatever it costs. But promises in their world were written in blood, and someone was about to demand payment. 2 months passed in tense preparation. Tae-woo brought in consultants to teach Destiny the unspoken rules of chaebol society. Not just language, though her Korean improved dramatically, but the subtle codes of power. How to read a room, when to speak, when silence carried more weight than words. She hated every minute of it, but she did it for Isaiah. The night before the board meeting, Tae-woo found her in the nursery, holding their sleeping son. Are you ready? No, but I'll face them anyway. He moved behind her, hands on her shoulders. They'll try to intimidate you, make you feel inadequate, question your worth. I am inadequate by their standards. Their standards are archaic and meaningless. You're Isaiah's mother. That makes you more important than anyone in that boardroom. Will they see it that way? Some will. Others. He stopped. Others will try to destroy us. Yes. What happens if they reject Isaiah? Then we disappear, all 3 of us. His voice was steady. I have accounts they don't know about. Properties in New Zealand, investments in Singapore. We can start over with new identities, new lives. You'd walk away from everything? For you? For him? He turned her to face him. In a heartbeat. The certainty in his eyes stole her breath. I love you, he said simply. I fought it for months, told myself this was just about Isaiah, but I was lying to myself. He cupped her face. I love you, Destiny, and whatever happens tomorrow, I need you to know that. Her eyes filled with tears. This is terrible timing. It's the only time, because tomorrow, everything changes. She kissed him, deep, desperate, with their son between them and the unknown stretching ahead. When they broke apart, she whispered, I love you too. I didn't want to, but I do. The board meeting convened at dawn. Shin Resort Holdings headquarters, 52nd floor. The executive conference room with panoramic views of Incheon Bay, 10 board members, 20 company directors, all seated in a semicircle like judges. Destiny entered holding Isaiah with Tae-woo at her side. She wore traditional hanbok, Tae-woo's suggestion, and felt every eye dissecting her. Chairman Shin, an older woman spoke, her voice cold. You bring scandal to this company. I bring the future, Director Kim. Tae-woo's voice was calm steel. My son, my heir. A son born outside proper marriage, to a woman with no family connections, no business experience. Another board member leaned forward. Some would call this child illegitimate. I call him my grandson. Everyone turned. An elderly man sat at the head of the table. Director Huang, who'd been with the company since Tae-woo's grandfather founded it. His word carried weight. Let me see the child. Tae-woo tensed, but Destiny moved forward. She wouldn't show fear. Not here. She placed Isaiah in the old man's arms. The room held its breath. Director Huang studied Isaiah with eyes that had witnessed 50 years of corporate battles. The baby stared back, unflinching. Then smiled. Something softened in the old man's expression. He has Chairman Shin's eyes, and his mother's courage. He handed Isaiah back carefully. I recognize him as the heir. One by one, nods followed, but 3 board members remained silent. This child will inherit an empire built over 3 generations, one said finally. But his mother comes from nothing. No family legacy, no business acumen. How can we trust her influence? Destiny spoke for the first time, her voice clear and steady. You can't trust me, not yet. Trust is earned, not given. She met their stares without flinching. I didn't choose this life, but I will spend every day proving I deserve to be here. For my son. Noble words? True words. Her voice strengthened. I won't pretend to be something I'm not. I managed a hotel. I came from nothing. But I will protect my son with everything I have. Anyone who threatens Isaiah will discover exactly how fierce a mother can be. Silence. Then Director Huang laughed, a genuine sound that broke the tension. She has fire. I like her. The mood shifted. Not everyone was convinced, but enough were. For now. As they left the building, Tae-woo squeezed her hand. You were incredible. I was terrified. That made it more impressive. But as their car pulled away, Destiny saw someone watching from the building's entrance. Not a board member. Someone else. A woman in elegant black, face partially obscured by designer sunglasses. Something about her made Destiny's blood run cold. Back at the estate, as she settled Isaiah for his nap, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. You performed well today, but the board isn't your real threat. The matriarch is coming. Watch yourself. A friend. She showed Tae-woo. His face went pale. What does this mean? It means the real battle just started. His jaw tightened. My mother. Your mother? I thought she lived in Paris. Everyone thinks that. She wanted people to think that. Tae-woo moved to the window. But my mother never left Korea. She's been watching, controlling things from behind the scenes. Why would she be a threat? Isaiah is her grandson. Because I defied her. His voice was tight. She arranged my marriage to Ewan. She chose her specifically. Right family, right connections, right image. When I divorced Ewan, when I told her about you. He stopped. What did she say? She said she'd rather see the company collapse than have it pass to the child of a nobody. That's the word she used. Nobody. He turned to face her. My mother doesn't make empty threats. If she's making a move, it means she's decided to act. To do what? Take Isaiah from us, raise him properly, without your influence. Over my dead body. That, Tae-woo's expression was grim. Might be exactly what she's planning. The message arrived 2 days later. Not a phone call. Not an email. A courier in an expensive suit, arriving at the estate gate with an envelope sealed in gold wax. The matriarch's personal seal. Tae-woo opened it with steady hands, but Destiny saw tension radiating from him. He read in silence, then closed his eyes. What does it say? She wants to meet, tomorrow, her residence in Seongbuk-dong. His voice was hollow. She says if we don't come, she'll call an emergency board vote. She still controls enough proxy shares to remove me as chairman. So we don't go, we call her bluff. It's not a bluff. I've seen her destroy people for less. He looked at her. But if we go, if we walk into her territory, we might not come out. Exactly. Destiny looked down at Isaiah, sleeping peacefully in her arms. 4 months old, innocent, completely dependent on them. We have to go, she said quietly. If we run, she'll never stop. She'll hunt us forever. I know. Tae-woo moved beside her, looking at their son. I know. Then we face her, together. He took her hand. Together. The matriarch's residence in Seongbukdong was exactly what Destiny expected. Traditional Korean architecture mixed with modern luxury, high walls, manicured gardens that probably required a team of 20. A compound that whispered of old money and older power. They arrived at the appointed time, Isaiah bundled in Destiny's arms. A servant in traditional dress led them through gardens that belonged in museums, through rooms filled with art worth more than most people earned in lifetimes, down corridors designed to intimidate. Finally, to a traditional receiving room. The matriarch sat on a raised platform, wearing an immaculate hanbok. She was in her early 70s, but looked ageless. Sharp cheekbones, intelligent eyes, the kind of beauty that commanded rather than invited. Taewoo bowed deeply. Destiny followed, careful with Isaiah. Mother. Taewoo. Her voice was cultured, cold. And this must be the assistant, the American. Her name is Destiny Lewis, mother, and she's the mother of your grandson. The matriarch's eyes raked over Destiny with undisguised assessment. Bring the child to me. Every maternal instinct in Destiny screamed refusal. But Taewoo nodded slightly. She climbed the platform steps, placed Isaiah in his grandmother's arms. The matriarch studied Isaiah with an unreadable expression. The baby, sensing something, began to fuss. He has the shin eyes, she said finally. I'll acknowledge that. He's your grandson, mother. Your heir. Is he? She looked up sharply. A child born to an employee, outside proper marriage, with no family credentials, no breeding, no value to our dynasty. She handed Isaiah back dismissively. Some would say this child has no legitimacy at all. The board accepted him, Taewoo said, his voice carefully controlled. Director Hwang himself. Director Hwang is a sentimental fool who remembers your grandfather's kindness. I made him wealthy. I can unmake him just as easily. The matriarch stood, moved with elegant precision. The board follows whoever holds true power, and in this family, that's me. What do you want, mother? What I've always wanted, for you to end this embarrassment. Send the girl away. We'll raise the child properly, away from her common influence. She'll receive generous compensation, enough to live comfortably anywhere in the world. But she'll never contact you or the child again. No. Destiny's voice rang out before she could stop herself. The matriarch's eyebrows rose. Did I address you? I don't care. Destiny's arms tightened around Isaiah. I'm not giving up my son. Not for money, not for threats, not for anything. Bold and foolish. The matriarch's smile was razor thin. Do you have any idea what I can do to you? I can destroy your father's treatment funding with a single phone call. I can make sure you never work in Korea again. I can have you deported within 24 hours. Then do it. I still won't give up Isaiah. For a moment, something flickered in the matriarch's eyes. Not respect, but perhaps acknowledgement. Taewoo, she said, still watching Destiny. Is this truly what you want? This woman? This situation? Yes. Taewoo moved to stand beside Destiny. She's what I want. Isaiah is what I want. And if accepting them means losing the company, losing your approval, losing everything, then I lose everything. Silence stretched like breaking crystal. Then the matriarch laughed, cold and bitter. You sound exactly like your father, before life taught him better. Maybe life taught him wrong. Life teaches us all eventually. She returned to her platform, sat with perfect posture. Very well, keep your common woman, keep your son. But understand this, I will not protect you from what's coming. What's coming? The other resort families, the competitors who see your scandal as weakness, the board members who answer to me and will make every day a battle. Her smile was cruel. You've made yourself vulnerable, Taewoo. And in our world, vulnerability is death. Then I'll die protecting them. No. The matriarch's voice dropped to something almost sad. You'll watch them suffer first. That's how our world punishes love. That's the lesson you're about to learn. She waved her hand in dismissal. Leave my home, and don't return unless you're prepared to make the right choice. They left in silence. In the car, driving back to the estate, Destiny finally spoke. She's going to try to take Isaiah from us, however she can. I know. So what do we do? Taewoo's hands tightened on the steering wheel. We fight, every single day, with everything we have. And if we lose? We won't. He reached over, took her hand. Because I'm not my mother. I'm not my father. I won't sacrifice the people I love for an empire. Even if it costs everything? Especially then. Destiny looked down at Isaiah, sleeping despite the storm gathering around him. He's going to grow up in a war. Yes, but he'll grow up with parents who chose him over power, who love each other. Taewoo glanced at her. That's more than most chaebol heirs get. Is it enough? It has to be. That night, after Isaiah was asleep, Destiny found Tae-woo in his study, looking at old photographs. What are those? My grandfather, before he became chairman, before he built the empire. Tae-woo held up a photo, a young man in simple clothes, genuinely smiling. He looks happy here. He does. I never saw him smile like that, not once. He set the photo down. The company consumed who he was. The power changed him into something he never wanted to be. Are you afraid that'll happen to you? Every day. He turned to her. But then I look at you, at Isaiah, and I remember what I'm really fighting for. Not power, not empire. Something real. Destiny moved into his arms. Your mother said our world punishes love. Then we'll build a different world, for Isaiah, for us. He held her tight. We'll build something better than what we inherited. Outside, beyond the security lights, a figure watched the estate. The matriarch's message had been delivered. But the real war was only beginning. Comment part 2 below. If you want to see what happens when the matriarch makes her move, hit subscribe because you do not want to miss the battle that's coming. And smash that like button to let me know you're ready for the most intense chapter yet. Because this story, we're nowhere near finished. The matriarch is patient, and patient enemies are the most dangerous kind.